Hi everyone, it's YC. Welcome to my channel, YC Cooks and Bakes. Today you can cook with me a cottage pie that we're going to have for supper tonight. And I thought you might want to see how I do mine. I'm going to start off by heating up my pan and put a little bit of olive oil. And I will put my recipe in the description of how I do my cottage pie. Get this out of the way for a second. Now, y'all might be wondering, does she mean shepherd's pie? But I don't. Okay, sorry about that. So the cottage pie I'm doing is because I'm using ground beef. If I was using lamb, it would be shepherd's pie. And shepherd's pie is predominantly from England, where the cottage pie made with beef is from the American Irish cuisine. And that's why there's the difference between beef and lamb. But you know the recipes these days. People make it where you can use either or. And some people even use ground pork. But I don't really know the history on that. We're just starting off with a little bit of garlic. And this is a whole medium chopped yellow onion. The garlic smells so good. I think all my good recipes start off with garlic and onion. Change utensils. I don't know if you're like me, but I like using a wooden spoon for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. I had to turn down my heat just a smidgen because I didn't want my garlic to burn. So basically I'm just getting these, not necessarily, I don't really want my onions to be browned or anything. I'm just going to make them translucent. And then I'm going to cook my ground beef with this to give it some flavor. We haven't had cottage pie in a long time. It's cooler temps now, so I think of these kinds of what to have, So today is was 71 a little while ago. It's probably more like 73 right now out there, but this is South Carolina. So it's not going to be as cold as your places up north, of course. Oh, this smells so good. I wish we had smell a tube so you could smell it. It's picking up now, isn't it? I like to saute them ahead of time. I don't like to just get my ground beef and then put this in raw, because I find like in the oven it doesn't cook all the way or as much as you'd like it to be cooked. So I go ahead and do this ahead of time and then just put the meat in with it for flavor. And I started doing this with my meatloafs too, because there's nothing worse than biting into meatloaf and then the onion is still raw and not, sauteed. And this is ground chuck. It's 80% lean. Let me go ahead and I'm going to use I want to keep this knife for my potatoes, so I'm going to use a different one. Kind of fussy about what knives I use for what. Okay, that has a really good head start. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my ground beef now. I think I got some. Oh no, it was just a little tiny piece inside the sink. Okay. I got this from the Piggly Wiggly. If you notice, it's not an Aldi container. Oh. Oh. Go ahead and break up some of this. I usually use a deeper pot, but I wanted you to be able to see what order I was doing things in. And I'm probably going to have to drain this a little tiny bit, even though it's 80%, which is nice and lean. So I'll brown this, and then I'll bring you back before I add my spices. Okay, I just finished draining it again. I drained the grease in this crock that I have over here. And I'm going to add some spices now. All my spices, well, these ones here come from my sister's garden in Virginia. But this one is kind of like an Italian one, where it has like a little bit of rosemary in it. So I wanted the rosemary flavor, so that's why I'm adding that. Okay. And then it has other stuff in it too, but it does not have this one, which is the oregano. But it has, you know, the thyme. And some sweet basil, which I like. Okay. And you know, we already have the garlic and onion in there. And I will go get some salt and pepper. I didn't want to put these in ahead of time, and then, you know, they go out, they get drained out with me draining the meat. Wanted where they can stay, my spices can stay in there. Okay. Right. Black pepper. Okay, I'm going to stir this again. Oh, it smells so good. Oh yeah, it's drained very well. It's nice and lean now, so that's good. Okay. That's perfect. And so I want to make this a little bit like gravy-like. Some people, you know, like to use like tomato paste and stuff and go that route. I'm going to make this one, I am going to put a little bit of Worcestershire because, you know, that's what you're supposed to do in this. Okay. Let's see here. If I can find it. I'm just going to free it, but I'll put a measurement down for you to go by. And I will put a little bit of ketchup in there, just to say that I do have some tomato in there, if I can get it out. That's good enough, because I'm making one like a gravy sauce to go in there. And this is a weekday, so instead of making my own beef broth, I'm going to go ahead and use gravy packets. Gotta have a shortcut during the week, right? Okay. And all this stuff I'm putting in, it adds flavor, it adds moisture. So, you know, so the meat in your cottage pie is flavorful and not dry, and it's just scrumptious. So, we're going to put, let's see, I'm going to get a bottle of water. And you know, each one of these, you put a cup of water, right? Well, this is, you know, 16.9. Yeah, so I might put a little bit less of the water in there. That's good. I'll be right there. I'll use the rest up making coffee. I'm going to go ahead and put these in. Just sprinkle it on and then stir it in, and it'll thicken, you know. Okay. Oh, if you were just shaking just now, that was my German Shepherd shaking up against this other side of the stove. Thank you, Bella, for that. No, I'm not letting you outside right now because you know that there's someone over at they're getting the house ready to rent out again next door, and she wants to bark at them. Yes, she does. She thinks Mama doesn't know. I'm smarter than that, Miss Bell. Come on now. All right, let me put this up so we got to go on to the next part pretty soon. Whoa, will you like how I'm just flinging stuff everywhere? Oh, I hate when I make messes. And I do dishes like all day to try to keep this area clean. Just brought my son to work, come home, sink's full again. I think with 6 people in the house, it is like literally impossible to keep your sink free. Even if you tell them, it's like, oh, okay, and then when you question them, it's just they just blame it on someone else. Oh, always dishes. Always laundry, always dishes. That's life, I guess. And you know, you can, if you find when you go to put everything together that you need a cream of chicken or cream of mushroom soup in it, you know, you can put that in it too. If you don't have the gravy packs, or if you find that the gravy packs were not enough, you know, or maybe you only had one and felt it wasn't enough, you could use a can of soup, I'm sure, you know, to flavor your meat and thicken it a bit. Or make your beef broth and do it the old-fashioned way with flour and butter and make a roux, you know. Make a little roux. Okay. And that is going to thicken as it sits. So I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to go on to the next part of this with you. So, there you go. Oh, look at this. Tell me that doesn't look so, Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. All right. I'll bring you back to the next part. Okay, so this part, I'm just going to peel some potatoes so I can, you know, boil them and mash them. And I think on this part you have to kind of use how much according to what pan you're using and according to how much you know, your family will eat. Yep. Ooh. Sometimes my hand slips. This one is a little bit more old than the other potatoes because it feels spongy. That's why it's hard to peel compared to the others. You can tell just by hanging on to it. Okay. See, this one's more firm. See how quick it goes? Like a firm carrot, you know. And I just, you know, do it on a plastic bag and then throw the plastic bag out. Years ago, you know, we used to use newspaper, but, you know, everyone gets their news from media these days instead of a newspaper, you know. So, okay. So we'll bring you back going on to the next part. Okay. I'm going to be using this for the top of, you know, the cottage pie. I'm going to use the, I couldn't find just the peas and carrots, which usually you can get at Walmart. Because I shop at Aldi, it usually has the corn mixed in with it. So we're going to use this, you know, on top of the meat, and then the potatoes go on the very top. And I'm going to mix this in, this cream cheese. I'm bringing it to room temperature, and now I'm going to mix it in with the mashed potatoes to make it creamy and fancy. I washed the potatoes that I peeled, and now I'm just going to cut them. My counter is old and has so many scratches. I just cut it right here. Some stuff I use a cutting board, but not everything. I always cut mine into smaller pieces. To me, it boils quicker. I don't know if you do that or not. Like literally by the time mine's done, you could use it for potato salad, or you could use it to mash potatoes. Now, of course, when I make potatoes au gratin and potatoes, scallop potatoes, I leave them raw and, you know, slice them like silver dollars. Of course. Okay. Woo. Got potatoes flying. All right, there you go. And then, now, because it wants to stick, I'm going to put in some water. I don't make a mess of it first. Seems like it wants to come out right away as soon as I open it. There we go. And I will boil these and bring you back. Okay, everyone. The potatoes boiled. They're all cooked. So I'm going to mash them just like I normally would. You know, where you use butter and milk and everything. You know, I don't care. It's beautiful outside, but it is hot in here. It really is. A little bit of salt. Okay. Now, if you want, you could use, beaters or whatever you want. Whip your potatoes like how you want to whip them. Mash them. I'm going to put some more black pepper in this. You don't have to. We just happen to like black pepper in our potatoes. You could use white pepper, whatever you want. And garlic. Okay. I'm going to put some milk. I'm just going to stir it now because it gets to a point where I don't feel like using this anymore. You know what I mean. Use it, and then once they're mashed, they're mashed. You just want to stir the stuff into it, right? Okay. I'm going to put my cream cheese into it. You can keep going. Don't worry, they can't see the door. Okay. Bella, you were too late. She tried to make it to the door. You just came from outside, Miss Bell. Goodness grief. Goodness gracious. Oh. She has a huge bone that my son bought her from the tractor store. Oh my gosh. Well, you've seen them in the stores. Like, they look like something from a dinosaur. She couldn't hardly lift it, and she's a German Shepherd. So, whew. It was a beef bone. I'm going to try to get this off of here. If I can. There we go. It's a busy house, but that's fine. It's better than one that's not, when you really stop and think about it. You're good if you need to come in here. The sharks are circling for supper. You know how that is. The sharks are circling. Okay, it's starting to mix up pretty good, see? It's going to be nice and creamy. And it's going to taste delicious with seasonings and cream cheese. And it's going to be, so eloquent, decadent, delectable, and all those other fancy words. Okay, so now I'm going to go get the beef to put in the bottom of my Pyrex. I thought thought I would use this so you could see what I'm doing. I'm gonna put this away. Whew. It's 4:44. Time of the angel. If you're a number person. I see 4s all the time. All the time. I talk to my angels, but I pray to God. Oh, I really wish you could smell this. It smells so good. Okay. And this is going to be divided here and here and here. So it's going to be 2, 4, 6. It's going to go into 6 pieces. And if you need to know, it actually is 1/6 of this recipe actually is exactly 400 calories, which is not bad considering, lasagna can be upwards of 580 something and even more for some hamburgers depending on how you fix them. Because, if you keep your breakfast, lunch, and supper at 400, well, that's only a 1,200 calorie diet right there. So it depends on, what you want to do, or if you wanted to eat this at midday instead of at night. That's completely up to you. I'm just trying to give you an idea because it is 19 grams of protein in this cottage pie. Okay, there, we got this spread out. And I'll get my scissors for my vegetable bag. You think I would be prepared? If I'm ever prepared, there's something wrong, right? Don't you think? I just leave it frozen. Like, I just took it out a little while